Hello and welcome to Box Office Chat, the weekly show from Movie Burner Entertainment where we discuss the top 10 films within the United Kingdom's box office. This is for the weekend, August 3rd to 5th, 2018, and joining me as ever is Stephen. What have we got at number 1 this week, Stephen? It's a surprise.
Back in again at number 1, John. It's Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. This film grossed another 4.1 million over the weekend. Overall, 42.1 million. This has taken me by surprise, I've got to be honest with you. I thought that Ant-Man and the Wasp would be right in there at number 1. Failing that, I thought Mission Impossible might hang on to number 1, but it hasn't. Mamma Mia is back in its third week. Surprise you?
It did surprise me. It's clearly the box office power of Cher, you know. A woman I thought was dead a couple of weeks ago. But clearly, she's still alive and she's pulling all the audience members in, Stephen. She's got that draw from all the way back in the 70s when she was doing duets with God knows who. There's a couple of other people in there as well. I'm being a little bit flippant. We've got Amanda Seyfried, Andy Garcia, Lily James, your favourite actor in the whole wide world, Stephen Pierce Brosnan, and obviously we've got that other guy that you love from The King's Speech, Colin Firth himself, Julie Walters. An amazing cast. You can understand why people are coming to watch the film. It's got the star power to draw it in. It's coming off the back of a much beloved and cult classic. I don't know if you can even call it a cult classic, just a classic for most people. In the first Mamma Mia film. It's a musical. They seem to be going over well with audience members over here. Recently, you've got La La Land and more recently The Greatest Showman, which was in the box office for about 60 weeks. I don't know, I lost the plot after about 3 months. And just recently I heard the album was actually still in the charts, maybe a couple of weeks ago, so that was a roaring success. This has came hot on the heels of that, and it's a roaring success as well. It's a roaring success all over the world too. It's sitting with a cumulative worldwide box office performance of 241.6 million. That's as of the 9th of August. So more than made a profit on its $70 million budget, which was estimated, but they're probably right. Still nowhere near the first film. We speculated 3 days before it came out, Stephen, would it touch the original box office? They were trying to get it to the same levels. It grossed about $500–600 million. It's not going to hit it now.
No, John, I was going to ask you that question, but you've answered it. The thing is, though, this film is getting higher ratings than the original. Yeah. You're right, it's not going to do as well as the original movie, but I think that's because of its competition in this summer. It's been a very strong summer, I feel. It's getting 7.2 on IMDb, which is very impressive. Yes. I also think the reason for this, getting back to number 1, is over here in the UK, it's the last week of the summer holidays. Certainly in Scotland, I don't know about England, but it's the final week of the school summer holidays, and I think a lot of families will be going along to see this, and I think that's one of the reasons. I'm not sure of its entirety what the reasons for this to hit number 1 again is, but I think that's one of the reasons is that a lot of the kids are going back to school very soon, and the numbers are turning out for this film once more. Yeah, I find that interesting, Stephen. I talk about the Rotten Tomatoes score every week with each individual film within the box office. It's sitting at 74% with audience members and 80% with overall critics. But when you actually click on the top critics rating, it drops quite a bit. It's 68% for the 38 esteemed reviewers who are falling into this top critic section of the website. I don't know what the hell or who the hell they are. Maybe it's people at the New York Times and stuff like that. Roger Ebert. I don't know what that means. I've not been to see the film. You've seen it numerous times because of family commitments. Yes. I've not got much more to add. I'm pleased for it though, Listen, it's clearly a good film. It's done the flashback thing. There's lots of films trying this. We were talking about it last week in the Movie Burner News show with Die Hard. First Day or whatever it was called. I forgot it already. It's going to try the whole Godfather 2 thing where you have a backstory and flashbacks and you've got the younger version of a character and the older version of a character sharing the screen. So, fair play to it. Yeah, I'll just put in this, John, before we move on, is that as far as a sequel goes, it did surpass my expectations. I didn't think they had enough in the engine to carry this off, but they have surpassed the original in the sense of they fleshed out those sort of stories that they hinted on in the original movie. It worked. The cast are all back. It's a stronger cast this time, obviously, with the younger versions coming in as well. You throw Cher in there, whether or not you're a fan of hers or not, she seems to be a pull anyway. for her singing and for her personality as well, I suppose. She has been around for 5 decades or so now. She's certainly got a fan base, and I think this is one of the reasons a lot of people have come out. Andy Garcia's in there as well. He's a terrific actor. So you're looking at the original cast, which was very strong to begin with, and you throw in these younger characters, younger actors I should say, playing the younger characters, and then you throw in Andy Garcia and Cher. It's a recipe for success, so you can see why it's done so well. Yeah,
clearly I'm not one of Cher's biggest fans, because the last time I could recall anything from her was that Do You Believe in Life After Love song. I'll probably not even get the title of that song right, but we're moving on. We're not talking about Cher. We've done enough of that today already. At number 2 we have Ant-Man and the Wasp. It's in its first weekend, because we're behind here. It's sitting at £3.7 million after its opening weekend, and of course its total gross is £3.7 million because it's opening weekend. It's shown in 586 theatres, which is a little bit down on Mamma Mia, which is sitting at 692, and indeed Mission Impossible sitting at number 3, which is sitting at 650, and well below Hotel Transylvania, so I don't know what's going on there. Certainly if it had been delayed for nearly a month over here, you would have thought it would have opened in a lot of theatres, but it hasn't, and it's shown in the box office because it's not even managed to pip Mamma Mia, here we go again, to number 1. That surprised me, Stephen.
But it doesn't surprise me at all, John. I think Disney have just totally made a mess of this, with the World Cup happening all over the world and not just in the UK. I thought it was a terrible decision to delay this movie by 4 weeks. The buzz around this film at the time, as I recall, in the US was the anticipation after Infinity War was very high. Yep. Now we're in August here in the UK and all over the world, and we're only getting to see this now. The buzz is fizzled out as far as I'm concerned. I still want to go and see this movie. I couldn't get along last weekend to see this movie. I will go in and see this. I know you've seen this, John, and you thoroughly enjoyed it. Yes. I'll let you back in a little moment, but that is one of the reasons that the box office is down in this, and that's the reason it's at number 2, is because I think the audience anticipation for this has fizzled out a little. I'm not saying that it's the film there's anything wrong with that. Very much like Solo, a Star Wars story, and I'm not comparing this to that movie either, but the film itself is fine, but the promotion of it was all wrong, the marketing of it was all wrong, and I think Disney have missed a trick here, certainly in the UK.
Yeah, I totally agree, Stephen. I think it was a mistake as well. There was one weekend where I believe England were playing Sweden in the quarterfinals of the World Cup, and the box office did dip quite a bit, but that's one weekend. This film was coming out prior to that weekend. It could have already made its money and had been out a couple of weeks before, and it wouldn't have been worrying about that weekend. Out with that, I don't think the box office really took a pounding during the World Cup at all, so I think it was a mistake. When you look at the total cumulative worldwide grossing figures as well, $430.7 million. That isn't that great for a Marvel film, certainly not for a sequel to a Marvel film. We were discussing that, Stephen. You says, when I says it was round about the same figures as the first Captain America film, Iron Man 4 and stuff like that, is round about the same mark for the first iterations of those films, but certainly not the sequels, which went on to do much better. So it's not too good. I did go and see the film, and I have to say I did thoroughly enjoy it. I thought it was slightly better than the first film, and I thoroughly enjoyed the first film as well, so that is high praise indeed. I thought the antagonists were better. I thought the story was just bigger and better. The way it delved into the quantum realm, the way it also focused in on the character of Ghost and Ava, who had some brush with the quantum realm when she was a little girl. She got ripped apart, and she was getting ripped apart and put back together again every time she came in and out of this existence, I presume. She was in pain, and it kind of delved into her pain, her suffering. She wasn't really a out-and-out antagonist. You could understand why she was doing what she was doing. She was trying to find a way to repair herself and also get rid of the pain. You had the other antagonist, which we spoke about, played by Walton Goggins, Sonny Burch, and I likened him to the little Arab guy from the first Mummy film, who used to scream O'Connell at Brendan Fraser's character. He was a little weasel who slithered in and out of the picture to Benny, that's his name, Stephen, you're right. He slithered in and out, trying to basically hamper the main protagonist at every turn. He's the exact same. He's trying to get the lab, which is the big building that's shrunken down by Hank Pym's technology. He just keeps continually trying to get that for his own nefarious reasons and sell it off. Ghost is going about her business, trying to find a way to get this lab as well and use the invention that Pym and Hope have put together to try and save their mother, Janet. And then you've also got another small antagonist. I say antagonist, he's more for comedic levity. And Jimmy Woo, played by Randall Park, he's an FBI agent who's having to go back and continually check and make sure that Scott Lang's not breaking his house arrest after the events of Civil War. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed the performances. It had all the same humour that we had in the first film. Incredible action. It took the shrinking technology and it really improved upon it in every way. There was some amazing moments using it, most notably the kitchen scene with Hope running along the ice and stuff. That was incredible. Lewis, played by Michael Pena, was back and he was delivering some funny moments as well. And then you've also got I spoke to you, Stephen, about it, the Benjamin Button treatment again. Michael Douglas's character, Hank Pym, was getting the same treatment at the start of the film. And then we also seen Lawrence Fishburne's character, Bill Foster, in a flashback when he was younger. I was very surprised by Lawrence Fishburne's character, I have to say. It wasn't what I was expecting. But listen, I'm giving it on here. I'm giving half the plot away. You've not even seen the film yet, Stephen. Sorry about that. But it was very, very good. And I'm surprised it's not doing better.
Yeah, I'm not really bothered about spoilers at this stage anyway, John. As you know, we read into the post-credit scenes anyway, and you know what was happening with that, because we were that desperate to see how it was linking in with Infinity War. One of the things I'm looking forward to beyond this movie is hopefully I get to see Dr. Hank Pym and Tony Stark interacting, because as we know from the first Ant-Man film, Hank Pym has got no time for Tony Stark, and it's going to be very interesting. Both of them are very similar characters in, you know, where they are in their careers and stuff like that, you know, innovation and technology, and it's going to be very interesting to see hopefully Michael Douglas and Robert Downey Jr. Interacting, and hopefully the next Infinity War film. We're just going to move on now, John, to number 3 this week. It was number 1 last week. Mission Impossible Fallout. It's grossed another 2.5 million over the weekend. Overall, 14.4 million in 2 weeks.
Yes, this is another one I went to see last week as well, Stephen. I did say I would go and watch it because I do enjoy the Mission Impossible franchise. It's doing very well at the box office. Fair play to it. I think everyone expected it to do quite well. Certainly doing okay here. 2 weeks, £14.4 million. Worldwide, it's sitting at $366.7 million. It's doing well in the United States. It's only got a budget of $178 million. That's quite small for a summer blockbuster. It's probably just about broke even, I would have thought, about now, with when you take into account the theatres taking their cuts and the promotion and stuff. I thought it was a great film. I think it was actually the best Mission Impossible film to date. I thoroughly enjoyed the story and the way it was splitting all over the place. I really enjoyed the character that Henry Cavill played, August Walker. He was a bit of a slimy, double-timing git, masquerading as a CIA agent, whilst underneath he was really quite a nefarious character. Even Hunt, you just know what you're getting with Tom Cruise's character. He's the all-action hero, you know, he does everything you'd expect him to do. He's jumping out of planes, he's jumping onto buildings, breaking his leg and continuing on. In real life, that is, not in the film. He's parachuting down, he's flying helicopters and doing high-speed manoeuvres. He's on bikes, flying through the streets of Paris. The guy's just built for this. This is a guy that's in his 50s, and it's incredible that he's continuing to keep this up into that age. I'm not saying he's an old man, 50, whatever, 56, he's not old. But listen, fair play to him. I know a lot of people dislike him, but this is what the guy's good at. He excels at it. You've got Sean Harrison there as Solomon Lane. He was in the Rogue Nation, the previous Mission Impossible film. He was a villainous MI6 agent that turned rogue, funnily enough. And he has continued into this, and he's got a sizable role, connecting up with the Apostles, who are the antagonistic group who are facing off against Ethan Hunt. These guys that are wanting the whole world to be put into ruin. I think their motto is the greater the suffering, the greater the peace, or something along those lines. They want to get their hands on nuclear warheads so they can blow up all the holy cities in the world and bring the world into peace eventually. A whole host of great characters in here. Simon Pegg's hilarious. His back and forth with Ethan Hunt, and even Ving Rhames, Luther Stickles, back and forth. Those three intermingling. The White Widow character, Vanessa Kirby played. She was great as well. Alec Baldwin's in there. I despised the character of Erica Sloane, played by Angela Bassett. I thought she was just a complete git who kept getting involved in things and putting spanners in the works. But I just enjoyed the story. I'm giving it on again. Thoroughly enjoyed it. High paced, amazing visuals throughout. There was one moment where Ethan Hunt's looking down from a plane, and there's lightning strikes in the cloud, and it was just incredible, stunning film, amazing action, enjoyable story, a great return to the Mission Impossible franchise. And I'm not surprised it's doing well.
Yeah, I think this is the 6th film, John, if I'm not mistaken. 8.2 out of 10 on IMDb is phenomenal. You know, for a franchise which stretches over 22 years now, goes back to 1996. Just the longevity of this franchise and the interest and anticipation for this movie is just phenomenal. You know, when you look at other franchises that just fizzle out, when they're, you know, stretched out over a long period of time, the sequels are watered down with lesser cast. Perhaps even the main star doesn't come back after maybe the second or third film. Tom Cruise has carried this franchise for the last 20 odd years now, and you've got to give him credit for that. And for a film coming in just under 2.5 hours, because I can imagine that I've not seen this movie yet. I'll explain my reasons for not seeing this film or Ant-Man and the Wasp in a little while, but I can imagine this is a non-stop roller coaster ride of a movie. It just doesn't stop till the movie stops. And I can imagine the 2.5 hours goes in very quickly. But no, hats off to Chris McQuarrie, the director, who also wrote this as well, and of course to the likes of Tom Cruise, as I said, Henry Cavill. It's a great cast, strong cast, and I will get round to seeing this film in the next few weeks.
Yeah, there was some incredible moments, Stephen, in there. You're right, the action was just frenetic, it was quick paced. One of the best opening 20 minutes to a film I've seen in a long time. You've got setups happening, walls falling down and them revealing that it's a set and stuff like that to con the doctor, who I believe was played by a Norwegian chap, maybe. Can't remember what his name is. Niels de Broek, played by Christopher Jonah. They conned him. He was the guy who was behind the nuclear warheads. He was wanting to blow cities up. But yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic film, as I did say. There's so many frenetic moments, so many incredibly slick action moments. Tom Cruise is back to his best in it. 97% rating on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics, 90% from the audience. The top critics are giving it an even higher rating of 98%. So it's going across well with just about everybody. It's, for me, the best in the franchise. And I was actually thinking that, Stephen, you touched upon it there. It's probably, it just keeps getting better and better for each film. And I think it's because of the introduction of characters like Simon Pegg's Benji Dunn. Yeah, they just bring some levity, great wisecracks, and just they intermingle well with the Ethan Hunt character. But we're going to move on, Stephen, to number 4, which is Incredibles 2. It's now grossed 2.3 million at the weekend. It's still shown in 692 theatres, and it's sitting at a total gross of 40.1 million after 4 weeks. Incredible performance from this. We're consistently talking about good films today, Stephen. I'm sure that'll be another diminishing return as we go down the box office. Might not be though, but total gross worldwide, just over $1 billion. So this is an incredibly successful film. I've spoke about it in previous weeks. For me, it's better than the original film. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It had amazing action, just like Mission Impossible, but in a different way. All the great characters came back, all the great comedy came back, great underlying themes. Brad Bird's done a fantastic job again.
Yeah, John, I think Brad Bird's... I've had a think about this now since we last spoke about this film last week on Box Office Chat, and I do think we're going to get our third instalment of this in the next 5 years. I don't think we're going to have to wait another 14 years for third instalment of this. As you said last week as well, we talked about it, that ending is setting up for a third film anyway. But Brad Bird's right, with the success of the first film back in 2004, it would have been easier just to knock out any old storyline and just milk this cash cow. But he didn't do that, and you've got to respect the guy. He didn't think he had a correct story or a plot at that point. It's taken him 14 years. Maybe not as long as 14 years, but he waited till the right story came along, and he's reaping the benefits now. But as I said, I think, I thought about this now. I think we're going to get another. I think Incredibles 3 is going to come out in the next 5 years. Yeah, certainly when you look at all the superheroes he's introduced as well, Stephen, all the different superheroes from around the world. He's bringing superheroes back into law. So we're going to, I'm absolutely convinced too that we'll see more great stories. If the plot's there and he can come up with a story that makes it worthwhile, I'm sure we'll get them back. Hopefully not too long though, or Huck Milner that plays Dash in this film will be too old to play the character, and we'll have to get a third recast. Not that it matters because it's animation and nobody cares. But I'd love to see the character that Bob Odenkirk played, Winston Deaver, coming back in some role as well, just because I love Bob Odenkirk so much. Hopefully Samuel can come back as well. Let's go see his best Frozen and we get some more of him because he was slightly underused. But yeah, I'm sure we'll get another sequel. Incredibly successful sequel, this one. Thoroughly deserving of its box office performance. We're going to move on to number 5 now. It's Hotel Transylvania 3 Summer Vacation. It's grossed £1.4 million at the weekend.
It's down 58% from last week, still shown in 830 theatres. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of theatres. Its total gross is now £7.8 million after 2 weeks. It's another sequel, Stephen. It's the third in a franchise. Sadly, I've not seen any of these films, but I do know it's Adam Sandler and all of his usual suspects coming back. It's apparently a very funny franchise. I don't know anything about it. I can't really add much to it, other than to say that it's directed by Jendy Tartakovsky, written by Michael McCullough and Jendy Tartakovsky, and it's got a whole host of familiar names in there, and the humour's meant to be fantastic.
If you're familiar with Adam Sandler films, you'll notice all his buddies are in there. Steve Buscemi, David Spade, etc. Nothing wrong with that, I suppose. And the legendary Mel Brooks is in there as well, John. I don't know too much about this franchise, I've got to be honest. From my daughter, I do know that the Macarena is in there. I've heard that about 50 times over the weekend. It's actually quite a cool little video if you go on YouTube. And from that Macarena video, I did pick up that the animation is quite slick. It's very well done. And the other thing as well, it's still shown in quite a lot of theatres here in Glasgow. So I think it's going to be hanging around for a few weeks' time anyway. Although the ratings are very average, 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb. That's after 10,000 reviews. So it's getting a bit of a mixed reaction at the moment. But I don't really have too much more to say on the movie. I've not seen it. I think it's going to be one of those ones that will eventually come on Netflix or something like that. And I'll probably catch it then.
Yeah, all I'll say is that the character Adam Sandler's playing's got better style than him. Adam just likes to kick about with shorts and baggy t-shirts these days. He's got better style. Animation's incredible though, as you did say, Stephen. It looks slick as hell. Kind of reminds me of that Christmas film with the big, tall, lanky Finn characters. I always forget the name of that bloody film. It's a Tim Burton film. Night Before Christmas. There you go, Stephen. I ask you this every time this comes up, but it's very reminiscent of that. And when you look at Rotten Tomatoes, it's much the same, Stephen. 53% audience score, 61% tomato meter score from the critics. Top critics giving it 60%, so it's a very average affair. But certainly that's not reflecting on the box office performance, Stephen. Worldwide cumulative gross of $343.4 million, off of an $80 million estimated budget, and it's grossed a healthy £7 million here, which is okay for a animation sequel over here. So yeah, it's doing okay. Yeah. Despite its average ratings.
Yeah, I think as well, John, that we spoke about this last week as well, that its initial release was going to be for Halloween, but some other film is taking that slot, and they've had to rebrand the whole film, so I think it might have had a little bit of an effect on the movie. But just moving on now to number 6 in the box office, in its first week. We talked about this film a few weeks ago on the Movie Burner blog. It was a review written by our very own Stephen Wilkins. This was a film I wasn't really keen on seeing. Don't know why, but once I read Steve's review, it did intrigue me. We did see the trailer as well, John, and I think we were both impressed by the humour. It was very much like the Lego movie humour. I'm going on and on here. The movie is, of course, Teen Titans Go to the Movies. This is, in its first week, grossing £400,000. This is a movie I want to see now.
Yes, it is. It's probably a movie I'd watch if it came on the TV though, Stephen. I don't think I'd go and watch it in the cinema. Although saying that I may do, because we have got unlimited cards. So it really does just depend on whether I can be bothered going and watching it. But certainly we watched the trailer and it was very slick. It had a very slick and cool little cartoon animation. Characters all looked very interesting. They've all got their own distinct little personalities, of course. I think the lead one is played by Scott Menville, Robin, of course. And it's just all the little Titan characters. The lesser, they're just a level down below the bigger characters like Superman and Batman and stuff like that, and they're a little bit unhappy about that, so they want to have their own film. They go and try and get a film deal. Some producer gives them a deal, but she's got nefarious reasons behind it. And I do believe it's Deathstroke, aka Slade, played by Will Arnett, who is the antagonist in this film. And we all know Slade, Deathstroke, whatever the hell you want to call him, from the Arrow series. He's a very good character. Its ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, 91% from the critics, 71% from the audience. It's doing very well. I think it's more directed at people who are fans of a TV series. There's a TV series of the same name, with the same characters, the same animation, and it's got a lot of fans, and they're probably coming out and watching the film. It's doing decent in the box office, team, for a film of its stature. It's Warner Brothers release, £389,000 for a film that I frankly didn't know anything about until Steve done a review on it a couple of weeks ago. That's impressive.
Yeah, John, I think the humour as well, it's right down my street, It's very much like the Lego movies. The other thing as well, the whole crew, the directors and the writers, are all from the television series, so it's a safe bet to know that this film's not going to really take away from the sort of theme and tone of the television side of it, of the Teen Titans. I do like this film and its direction it's going. I actually like the fact that Robin is a sort of main star in this movie. But it's also great to see Nicolas Cage is actually getting to play Superman.
Yes.
You know, finally, you know, from the much talked about potential film that was supposed to come out in the mid-90s, directed by Tim Burton, I think it was, and written by Kevin Smith. We're finally getting to see Nicolas Cage, who is a big comic book fan. He did get to play an incarnation, I suppose, of Batman and Big Daddy and Kick-Ass, and he portrayed that so well. You can see he's got a love for the comic book films. Michael Bolton's in there as well, strangely enough, the singer. He's playing a character Tiger. But they're all there, you know, Aquaman, Starfire, Raven, Cyborg, Robin, Beast Boy, Wonder Woman, the list goes on, they're all there. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing this movie. I think I'm going to be taking my daughter to go and see this film because it's a good way to introduce that age group. She's 5 just now, into the superhero world. She's familiar with the likes of Batman, Superman and all that, but I think this type of film, I think, would be right down her street as well, to getting to know the other characters.
Yeah, you're not going to mention the Plastic Man, Stephen, and Balloon Man, or maybe even Atom and Control Freak. Some absolutely bizarre characters in there. We can see here, Stephen, in front of us, Will Wheaton playing Flash, and Stan Lee's in there in a DC film. How the hell did that happen? But listen, I'll probably watch this at some point. Whether it's in the cinema really does come down to whether I can be bothered or not. I probably won't, because there is some good films coming out, like The Meg. But we're moving on to number 7, which is the First Purge. It's been out for 5 weeks now, and it's ever diminishing returns. I think it's on its last legs. It's grossed £172,000 for the weekend, down 37.9% from last week. Only shown in 164 theatres now. It's down 40 as well. Everything's down for this film. But listen, £5.6 million grossing at the box office in the United Kingdom is not to be sneered at. You do need to remember this is a Blumhouse film, and it only had a budget of $13 million, so it's made its budget back here alone, I would have thought, when you take into account the currency exchange. Total gross worldwide, $122 million, more than made a profit. I didn't want to go and watch this film purely because I've seen the trailer, as I've said time and time again, over its cinematic release instant in the box office since we've been talking about it. It didn't connect with me, I didn't enjoy the premise. Not a lot of great actors in there, out with Marissa Tomei. I'm being a little bit prejudiced there, I don't know anything about the actors, so I don't know if they're great or not, but was it for me? I read a little review down the bottom of IMDb, which I'm going to read, which bamboozled me. It says, unbelievably bad, zero character development, predictable outcomes from the moment the movie starts, avoid, and the title is worst movie in the set by far. I say bamboozled, Stephen, because I wasn't aware this was a franchise or a set of films. This is the first Purge film that I can ever recall existing. But listen, maybe there is other films out there and I've not seen them, I don't know. I'll have a look while you're talking. Yeah, I mean, after looking at, looking back on this franchise, if you like to call it that, there is a couple of films. Yeah, it's a trilogy, Stephen. I'm talking crap.
Yeah, The Purge came out in 2013, and then Anarchy came out in 2014, and I think Election Year came out a couple of years ago. I wasn't familiar with these films, I've got to be honest with you. Even when this film was first spoke about this a few weeks ago, when it first came on the box office, and I've got no inclination to go and see this movie other than when it's on something like Netflix or another streaming service. I'm not going to get out my road to go and see this film because I've not seen the other films. Yeah, I do recall you mentioning, Stephen, I'm totally contradicting myself here. I was talking crap, as I did say it's a trilogy. But you did say last week Frank Grillo says he wasn't going to come back if the script wasn't right, and he didn't come back. And certainly that would confirm there's more films. I don't know why I said that. But Frank Grillo was in the second film in the trilogy. Carmen Eogo was in there. Much better cast. And when you actually go back to the first film in this trilogy from 2013, another better cast, Ethan Hawke, Lena Headey. So I think it's fair to say that it's all went downhill in this trilogy. It's ever diminishing returns for the trilogy, and it's ever diminishing returns for this film in the United Kingdom's box office. And its 9th week, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, grossing another £200,000 over the weekend. Overall 42.2 million. 9 weeks feels like 19 weeks to me.
Yes, feels like 9 years to me, Steve.
Yeah, we've been talking about this film till we're blue in the face, till we look like characters from Avatar. But I've got nothing else to add to this other than I enjoyed it. It was a bigger, better film than the original. Chris Pratt once again performs brilliantly, especially with the interacting with the CG characters as well. He does this so well. He's just getting the knack for doesn't matter who he's playing off in the scene, whether real or not, it just seems to make it believable. But I don't really have much more to say, John. I think I can't really see this being in the top 10 for much longer. 200,000 over the weekend it's not bad for a film in its 9th week, but I think it's starting to peter out now.
Yeah, you missed a trick there at the start, Stephen, when you says we were blue in the face, looking like Avatar characters. You could have said we were blue in the face, looking like the raptor that Chris Pratt's Owen Grady has a connection with, who's of course called Blue. Yeah. That's crap. But yeah, this film's not crap, Stephen. This film is very good. I enjoyed it. J.A. Bayona done a fantastic job stepping into the big shoes of Colin Trevorrow. I don't know if his shoes are literally big, but certainly in terms of metaphorical terms, they're very big shoes indeed, because he done great with the original Jurassic World film, which grossed ridiculous money for $1.6 billion. Bryce Dallas Howard says it time and again, played off great with Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt showed his ability to work with CG characters again. He also does it to great effect as Star-Lord in the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. I can't imagine we've got a guy like Dave Bautista playing Blue though, so it's even better in this. We've got the likes of Toby Jones, a little toad of a man in this film, playing the antagonist. He is quite small, he's only 5'4". And yeah, he was great as the little weed antagonist. He got his comeuppance in that brilliant elevator scene where the big Indoraptor had its way with him. Jeff Goldblum stepped in, and I liked the way that they connected some of the older characters from the Jurassic Park franchise, the likes of B.D. Wong as Dr. Wu. So overall, very impressed with the film, enjoyed it. I've seen it a couple of times. Great sequel, can't wait to see what they do in the final instalment of the sequel trilogy. And listen, $1.26 billion overall in the worldwide grossings is not to be sneered at. Not quite the 1.5, 1.6 that the original film made, but very good nonetheless, and you can't argue with it.
We're just moving on to number 9 now, John, this week, and this is the movie that has caused the reason for me not seeing Mission Impossible Fallout or Ant-Man and the Wasp, because I was away seeing a 4-week-old film starring Dwayne Johnson. You saw this a few weeks ago. I did say I was going to go and see this with my dad last weekend. I did. Skyscraper, and it's grossed 100,000 over the weekend. Overall 5.2 million in its 4th week. Now, I know that you did a review on this film as well, John, so I kind of prepared me for getting into this movie. This was more for my dad. He's a big Dwayne Johnson fan. I've got to be honest, I didn't mind it at all. No. It was a popcorn flick in every sense. You take Dwayne Johnson out of it, it's absolute garbage. He is the pull in this film. He really is. You take him away, you take his character away, it's not a very good film. But his charm, charisma, and his action is what carries this film. It's ridiculous at times. Reminds me a lot of Commando. Some of the sequences and the reaction to the sequences as well, as if it's just sort of day-to-day living. It made me laugh. There was a lot of moments I don't know if I was supposed to laugh at, but I certainly did. Yeah,
you tell me you're not aware of all these guys dangling off of cranes in Hong Kong, Stephen, and it getting beamed onto 50-foot high screens to cheering crowds. That's a daily thing over in Hong Kong. You also tell me that if you took Dwayne out, you weren't impressed with Chin Han's performance as Jai Long Ji, the character that nobody ever wanted or even cared about. He had his on-off thing, of course, with Roland Muller's Chorus Boffa character. They had a little battle over, I don't know what the hell it was, I've not seen it in a couple of weeks now. I think it was over, he was trying to bribe him with the construction workers, get money out of him. They hadn't finished the Peril building, and Roland Muller's character was trying to get money out of him. He took the construction workers on strike, and then he was obviously set fire to the building. That caused the events we've seen. I completely agree though, Dwayne Johnson is the pull on this film. He's the leading man, and that is why I expected it to do much better than it has done at the box office. It's very underwhelming. £5.2 million after 4 weeks is not that great. Its overall grossing's $280.7 million. You could argue it's just about made a profit now. I think that's thanks to its performance in China, which apparently it done very well. And China shuts down, I believe, for about a month or something, if not more. Everything, the business is all shut down. But they seem to release this in theatres over there. I don't know how they did it. And apparently it connected quite well, and that's pushed it on to making just about a profit. I didn't hate the film either. I did laugh at bits I don't think I was meant to laugh at. Some of the action and the set pieces were quite impressive, but they were fairly telegraphed. The visuals were very, very good. That was probably the standout thing, alongside Mr. Johnson. I know there was a lot of backlash about this film when it first came out because he played an amputee, and they were saying it was disrespectful. But these people are just the usual 21st century PC brigade that like to be offended at just about everything. They'd be offended by a fly landing on a dog's shit out in the street. So we're not going to go there. We've been there and we've done that to the death. But listen, some good performances in there. I enjoyed Roland Moore as the antagonist. Pavel Schreiber had a little role as the friend of Dwayne. Dwayne was amazing. Neve Campbell, zero chemistry with Dwayne. But listen, it's a bit of a flop over here, but overall it's eked out a profit, and that's all that matters in the end. Dwayne will move on to other projects. He's got about 50 on the go for this year alone, and I can't wait to see what he's doing next.
Well, we talked about what he's doing next, John. The Black Adam movie, and I'm certainly looking forward to that, and the upcoming Suicide Squad 2, where he's continuing that character. Rumoured anyway. Jumanji 2, San Andreas 2, which came as a surprise to us. Big Trouble in Little China as well in there. So he's keeping himself busy. I don't think he's going to be really affected by how Skyscraper has did this summer.
He's got Hobbs and Shaw, Stephen. The Jason Statham, Dwayne Johnson spin-off of the Fast and Furious series, so that'll be good. Yeah, so he's keeping himself busy, and I say he's one of these guys I don't think a lot affects him in life, other than, you know, the more important things in life, like his family and loved ones. But just moving on, John, to the final movie this week in the box office here in the UK. It's Ocean's 8 in its 7th week, grossing another £100,000. Overall, 10.9 million. Yeah, I mean, this film we've spoke about almost as much as we have with Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom, but not quite, because it's been out 2 weeks less. It's the heist film with the amazing cast of Rihanna, Anne Hathaway and several other people, which I'm not going to name because I can't even be bothered clicking in on the film's details, and I've not watched it because, as I said previously, it just doesn't connect with me. It's too slick, they're too cocky and cocksure and arrogant, the characters, and it doesn't make for enjoyable entertainment for me anyway. Certainly it must do for some people because it has earned £10.9 million here. Its total gross worldwide is now sitting at a healthy $275.4 million off of a $70 million budget, so it's made a profit. But I'm not going to go and watch it. But the final thing I'm going to add, Stephen, before I disappear off into the sunset for this week's episode of Box Office Chat, it's not connected to Ocean's 8 in any way, but I've just seen that this is a very impressive week for Universal Pictures at the box office in the United Kingdom. 4 films in there. Number 1, number 7, 8 and 9. So I tip my hat to Universal Pictures. Not that they give a crap about me tipping my hat, or me in general, but fair play to them. Ocean's 8's done well too. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go and see this film, John. It's not because I don't think it's a badly made film. I just don't see the need for it. Ocean's 8 it's just another remake, as you said, with another cast. And it's getting average ratings. It's one of those movies that I will catch on Netflix at some point if it's on Netflix or Sky Movies. I mean, even with Gary Ross as the writer, you know, he's written some of the best films that I've grew up, you know, with Big, Pleasantville, etc. But as I said, I'm not going to go out my road. I'll wait until this film comes on either a streaming service or on Sky Movies. Yeah, I'm just gutted Steve we never got to say Fanny Can this week. It's sitting at 12. But that brings us to the end of this week's episode of Box Office Chat, where we break down the top 10 films within the United Kingdom's box office. We'd just like to thank you for listening to us, and we'll be back tomorrow for Movie Burner News. Remember guys, if you enjoyed that episode, then do hit that like button, comment below, and maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. If you want to follow us on social media for all the latest updates from Movie Burner Entertainment, then we can be found on Twitter and Facebook at Movie Burners. You can also listen to us on Google Play and iTunes at the Movie Burner Podcast. And last but not least, if you want to access all the latest written reviews and the occasional article, then that can be found on our website at movieburnerentertainment.org. Until the next time, goodbye.